What's good with the YouTube account? This perspective, it's your boy Big Flaco coming through, sliding through, smashing through with my co-host Big Senor Rojo. As always, we got a little bit of energy, and as always, man, we're gonna give you our perspective on a controversial subject. Take it from here, Ro.
All right, man. I've got probably in the upwards of 30 or 40 comments asking if this would now be an opportunity for the Norteño collective to separate themselves from the NF due to all the recent stuff that's going on. And a lot of people have brought up the fact that it's been happening, basically for about 15 years now since SNY became so popular, and group segments such as the Northern Riders and whatever the hell else they got going on over there. Would it be beneficial or detrimental for the Norteño collective to walk away? And I thought about it for the last couple of days, man. I've been sitting on this topic for a minute. I don't see the core group of Norteños, Northerners, whatever you call them nowadays, going anywhere. Look what happens. Okay, you got all these other groups, right? None of them have these big major indictments. None of them are out there putting in work, so to speak, at the level of the original group. The only group really that I acknowledge. So basically, there's still whole lot of power, a whole lot of followers, and people are still striving. It may not be as many as it was when I was doing my thing, Flacco, all of us, Boxer Gunner, but the movement's still there, it's still strong. And anybody who is well schooled, well versed, and a part of the activities in any form or fashion, they're not just going to walk away. The NF still has the power, regardless of how many hits they take. Like we've said many times, people are going to fill the void, and the void's going to be there. People don't want to get deemed. People want to be good in the hood. People want to be able to remain what they call now as active. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening, bro. There's going to be people who walk away, but that's been happening for 15 years. It's going to have nothing to do with these recent indictments, any kind of bickering. Yes, it is a bad time because, as a regular N or N soul or whatever terminology, you fall into, these power struggles at the top affect you. But a real soldier would just keep moving forward. So I don't think this is going to cause some kind of mass exodus, from the group as a whole, or there's going to be any major organizational, followers departure. I just don't see it happening, man. I think things are going to resume pretty much as they were. Some allegiances may change. Some people might say, well, I've been supporting, one group or the other this whole time, and now I'm going to, even use this to further my support of that particular segment, whichever one it may be, it doesn't matter. But people aren't just going to do no mass walkaways or anything like that, because true believers still have that fire in them to function as an active. I don't even like using that word. We talk about it all the times, but that's what everybody understands. So my opinion is that there's no way that this is going to separate the allegiance of the Norteño collective with the Nuestra Familia. I just don't see it personally.
I have to 100% agree with you. I don't see no changes coming. The thing that I've been noticing and hearing different, right, is the terminology insole and Northern Norteño are kind of two different titles as far as opposed to the feds and state. I was talking to someone that was in the feds, right? That was an insole from the Fed side, and he said that there's three tiers in there. There's Ganas, insoles, and Norteños. In the feds, they have dropped the title Northerner. It no longer exists.
Good.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? Which because over there, if you're an insole, you can get insole tattooed on you. You can get NF tattooed on you. It doesn't matter. The feds don't validate you in there. They don't lock you down for gang affiliations. So it's a little bit different. But now in the feds, right, the way they're treating the insoles nowadays is almost in the same frame of mind that they used to treat the NR members, Nuestra members. I heard that they're starting to sit there and say in-soul business is in-soul business now. So a lot of the in-souls are doing a lot of the NF's bidding out there on the yard, of course, and then they're the ones that are in control of all the regular Norteños. They're schooling and so forth, whatever it may be. So it's kind of changed a little bit, and it's all. See, you got to remember, it's been a long time since you've ever had NF members out there on these yards, whether it was the feds or state. Very rare. You'd have to go to somewhere like reception center and go into the hole, get validated, go to the shoe just to be around an NF member. I think the last NF member that was on a main line, pre-end hostilities, I think it would have been Mondo Quinn when he was up in High Desert. I think he was the last official NF member that was out there. And then you also had your homeboy, Porky, that was out there, and he ended up getting hit because they didn't believe him. But I have to agree with everything you say. There's going to be those that they're going to fill that void. Every time the RICO comes, there's going to be that vacuum effect where they try to take out the leadership. But there's going to be those stragglers that are going to sit there and they're going to vie for positions. There's some old timers that are still in the system that have been around a long, long time. They're going to continue to educate, continue to push the NF's agenda, which is to have everybody under the umbrella of their authority. That's the whole NF's objective behind the walls in the streets, is to have everybody under their umbrella. Therefore, when they have everybody under their umbrella, they have a picking of foot soldiers to do their bidding out there in the streets, in the prison, wherever it may be. It's like you build a wall. You know what I'm saying? You may only have a small nucleus of members right here that you would consider your elite circle. There's different terminology they've used over the years, the governing body, you know what I'm saying, made members, whatever it may be. But you have this nucleus and you have all this, which is a camouflage for your activities, but you're also going to benefit from it monetarily all the time. I mean, it's all self-exhibit. You know what I'm saying? Now, do I think that they should? Here's what I would suggest, man. If, even though we're anti-gangs and all that, man, we do understand that the Norteño movement, we were all part of that. We all supported it. We're all for the cause, right? I don't know why they don't go back to the old ways. You know what I'm saying? Let NF business be NF business. Give the in-souls their authority, but watch them monitor it from a distance. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're in the feds or state, let the in-souls continue to push their movement. You know what I mean? Educate the Norteños and just be like a distant third party as far as you're from a distance while you work out your issues amongst each other. Because right now, that's all that's happening right now is you're having regular Norteños or Northerners, depending on where you're at, that are being affected by this power struggle. I mean, you have people who are being sent with directives coming from the feds, going into a county jail, who are trying to take the llaves. And then, that happened over there in Santa Rita to a homeboy, man. You know what I'm saying? He ended up getting there. He was given directives that to eliminate because they had a 3-panel council that was running Santa Rita for a minute. And so they had sent directives, Corning and them sent directives with an end to go there and establish a one-man authority like back in the days. When he got there, he got shut down because they were loyal to the state. Because we already know who the regiment commander is that's running that, and he has a direct line. And the way they're doing it before is, you used to always have a regiment commander that's out there in the streets, you know what I'm saying, who's always reporting to someone in there. But usually the regiment commander out on the streets is going to run the county jails. That's how it's always operated. But now you have a regiment commander that's locked up running the county jail. So you're sending the Northerner into a suicide mission, depending upon where they end up landing up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I would think would be is, let's go back to where in-soul business is in-soul business, which they would be the plight for the movement. They'd be the frontline defense for all Northerners, Norteños, and even C's out there. Let the NF worry about their organizational business. They have bigger issues to deal with, but that's not going to happen because in order for one side to win this war, they're going to recruit different people from different facets. Because what people don't realize is the only people within the organization that count are other C's, other NF members. An in-soldado is an alliance to the NF. Right. Whether Northerner or Norteño, whatever title you're using, is just an alliance to an in-soul and an NF member. So you're expendable. And that's the truth. And the truth sometimes hurt, but that's the reality. Because the NF member is always going to take the backing of another NF member before that of an in-soul or Northerner. It doesn't matter if he's right or wrong. They're always still going to back up the SC. Right? Yeah. So why not go back to back in the old days? You know what I'm saying? You remember in San Quentin, the C's would have their juntas over here, then the Hermanos would have their juntas over here. And then you'd have the rather Norteños that were right there that weren't obligated, but they were still there. They were still recognized. They were still involved in the unity. They still had the respect. Therefore, no one's getting caught up. It's like the deep facility dilemmas should have been an example of how people can get crossed up. Because there was a lot of soldados, hermanos, back then it was NR members, that got deemed no good just because they were taking directives in an issue that involved 2 NF members that, you know what I mean, and their supporters that had nothing to do with NR business. And so why is history repeating itself? Because look at those dudes that jumped from Mateo. They're now on a non-designated yard in CMC East, most of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is pretty much a 50-50 or whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's S and Y. I don't care how you want to spin it, man. It's S and Y. You know what I'm saying? Because they got involved in C business.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. I agree with you, Flacco, man. Getting rid of the NR, it might have been a necessary move at the time. However, having another group similar, you know, NSOLs, whatever you want to call it, it allows you to be more focused on your agenda as a whole. Because the agenda as a whole, you know, for the big homies, isn't the same as the agenda for the Northerners. It isn't the same as anything. Now, when you get NSOLs into it, NSOLs or Nuestra, however it is, but say you got a middle tier group, their objectives now somewhat become in line with the big homies. Not all of them, but some of them.
Exactly.
And then the Northerners kind of fall and they start to have some similar objectives with the NSOLs and the NR, as far as at least education and how to, you know, establish and maintain and secure. Having a mid-level group such as that, whether it's formal or informal, it should be informal because then it makes it harder to get harassed, but it's not my call. It allows NF members to focus more on what they have going on for their group and not have to worry about the day-to-day operations of prisons or county jails or anything like that. So they have a lot more time and a lot more, you know, manpower available to focus more so on the goals as per the Constitution or the temporary goals that are deemed necessary by that group at that time. But there's nothing wrong with having a mid-level group, you know what I mean? Leave it so they're not obligated once they're out of prison, but allow them to basically be the representation inside of the prison. I mean, yeah, ultimately a big homie would have to have the ultimate say so because he's experienced and it's on his hands, you know what I mean? Wherever he goes, he's ultimately the responsible party for everything, good, bad, or indifferent, you know? So, you know, allowing NSOLs and whatever they call it, bro, to take some steps up and have some more authority and be more hands-on in the day-to-day operations, it's a good thing, bro.
But see, that's what people don't
function as a group. I mean, let's not get this twisted, people. I'm not offering no gang advice. We're just giving this a perspective based on what's going on right now. You know, I have no horse in the race.
But in the NSOL movement, the Norteño movement was something totally different and it had anything to do with organizational business. They were the frontline soldados for the movement for the betterment of the people to secure, educate, and establish to where gente could have a place where they could take advantage of all these privileges and incentives. That's the whole goal. Not no organizational stuff, you know what I mean? Not no governing body. Yeah. I mean, they politic for security reasons. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as you start to involve organizational business within any of these sub-factions, they become involved. And as soon as they become involved, they start to think, okay, we can do our own damn thing. You know what I'm saying? There's money to be made. You know what I mean? But how often is that money that you're making, how much is really being contributed to the household? Or is it really just going to a select few? Even all this money they're making on those main lines.
Hey, it's been as low as, bro, is 10% for the Familia and 5% for the group. It's been as low as 15%. And it's steadily gone up. I mean, there's been some inflation, you know, that's always been above my pay grade and whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, if you're part of that group, you need to, you know, be in sync with what they ask of you and you need to know that going in. But you're absolutely correct about everything. We're dead eye to eye, man. You know,
it's a controversial topic, bro. There's no like, you know what I mean? It's like either you let them do what they need to do out there and maybe you monitor them from a distance and take care of your business over here and maybe pick and choose the, you know what I mean? But they can't do that. Everybody got their hand in the cookie jar. Everybody wants to be in control. So therefore you got homeboys that are being put out there under certain implementations that they have to either comply or abide with. It's why you have so many people that have walked away. It's why you have so many different groups. We gave birth to the SNY yards, all these strict, rigorous programs that they put upon regular homeboys. It wasn't like that back in the days, man. I mean, how often do you see a 50-year-old OG out there on the handball court that's on a GP yard nowadays? You don't see it. In our time era, you did.
On the SNY yard, maybe.
A lot of good OG homeboys, you know what I mean, that I used to see back in the days when I was first in the system. You'd see the old viejos with the big old bro shots and say, let me give you a little schooling about how it was. You know what I mean? Let me show you my battle wounds and stuff. You know what I mean? Nowadays, you're lucky to see a 40-year-old on the yard. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I remember when I first pulled up to Susanville, man, there was a lot of older homies, you know, at least my age now and a little bit older. And when they found out that I was a homeboy, and you know, they were like, bro, are you sure you want to do that? You know what I mean? This is a rough life and whoop-de-whoop. And I'm like, yeah, man, I made my commitment in the county jail, bro. You know, it's already done. I'm not going to backpedal. You know what I mean? And man, a lot of them tried to talk me out of going into the life, you know, and the life was, I don't want to say necessarily easy back then because I'm not going to compare eras. You know what I mean? It's just is what it is. You got to be in sync with the times. But yeah, they were like, bro, this is a rough life. You know what I mean? And it's gotten rougher, man. And the reason it's gotten rougher, I mean, it's no more dangerous. I don't mean rough in that fashion. There's a lot more things that involve everyone instead of it just being one.
You want to hear something that's crazy, bro?
I do. You know I
Okay,
do.
let's really think about it, bro. We always hear, I even see these youngsters nowadays, right? Like, all due respect, you know what I mean? Like the ones that are in the rap game and all that, man. You know, the homeboys pushing that line, whatever, right? Pay tribute to September 1668, all this stuff, right? All those dudes from that time, they're all no good now. None of them are even valid. The ones that have to be paid homage to for making those sacrifices aren't even relevant no more. They're not even in good standings. The ones that put in the work from the beginning, they're not even recognized. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Corny and them didn't get pulled till like 1980. I think the oldest ones are maybe Conejo, DC, and
Pinky.
and Pinky.
Pinky.
But besides all that, everybody that you're paying homage to, they're all been dropped out, debriefed, told, or went SNY.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the reality of this life. That's the reality of being an organizational member. There's only, I mean, so much you're going to get in that lifestyle. And it's not to bash these people because there's a lot of dudes that have been fully committed and have made sacrifices and done what they did. They do what they do. It's not me no more. What I'm trying to sit there and say, right, is, you know, you start to look and look at the comparison of like other factions who decided to branch off. It's because they wanted to do their own damn thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's not here to, you know, bash the organization or do that. You know what I mean? We're just over here giving our perspective because these are the experiences that we see in the stories that we hear over and over again. This is nothing new. You know what I'm saying? So if you went back to, if you know what I mean, like I said, is it ever going to happen? No. The NF are going to maintain that control because if they don't maintain that control, the NF cannot exist or survive without Norteños. The same way the Mexican mafia cannot exist or survive without Sureños.
Imagine if all them hoods, you know, down there, you know, which is 10 times the amount is up north. Imagine if they said, man, hell with their big homies. There wouldn't be nothing them dudes could do, bro. We're talking 250,000 damn gangsters versus a couple hundred, bro. It's,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It would be like, man, hey, we ain't listening to you no more. Get out of here, bro. It would be a failure. You got to have allies.
It's crazy because, like, see, like, we're able to take a step back because we're not involved in that life no more. And we know we talk to homeboys that, you know, we talk to homeboys that just get out. We talk to homeboys that are still, you know what I mean, in there and all kinds of stuff, man. And they all reiterate the same thing. It's not what it used to be. This sucks. It's no fun being a homeboy no more. There's no more carnalismo. There's no more striving. There's no more plight. There's no more struggle. The only struggle you have existing is within your own people. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Hey, nowadays, man, you, instead of worrying about what you got to do and how you're gonna be successful in the goals you want to reach, either independently or as a member of any level of the umbrella, you're more worried about getting hurt, bro. Like, dude, every possible outcome that you do, if it's bad, man, it could cost you your life, bro. You know, and that's no way to live. You know what I mean? you can't be, you're gonna be different, bro, when everything that you do could possibly have deadly consequences.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of pressure, bro. It's a lot of pressure. And the only ones who don't feel that pressure are the ones that are currently on top in any given era. You know, and what I've seen is it's gotten worse over the years. You know, where
Yeah.
being deemed and ending your career has become considerably easier than it may have been in the past. You know, like, man, I've heard incidents where people are getting hit for losing cell phones. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, we're not in a perfect place. Things are going to happen. It's not like I said, hey, police, here's the cell phone. You know what I mean? You're in prison, bro.
It
They
sounds like
control
homeboys that lock it up that we get caught with paperwork, right? And the first thing I would say is, why the hell were you giving them paperwork in the first place? If they didn't know how to manage their own security, then that's on you for that breach of security.
everything.
That homeboy shouldn't be victimized. Give him a little discipline, but I'm holding you accountable. You entrusted that individual with that position to where he gave this person this type of hot material to hold, and he got caught with it. You knew better. You know what I'm saying? There's a lack of accountability. Sometimes people don't want to take accountability for their own actions. When there's a breach of security, it doesn't start with the foot soldier where the breach happened always. It happens within your own people. What kind of clutch are you giving them? What type of responsibility are you giving? That's why every time I've had an authority position, I would rather take hold of, if there was no one there that was competent and capable to do the requirements or the duties and responsibilities that I had expected for them, I was going to take as much of that on myself, or I was going to put more on those that I know that were capable of. That's how you delegate responsibility. You don't deem someone no good because you gave them something and they got caught with it. That's your fault. You should be held accountable, but nobody wants to take accountability when push comes to shove. They want to pass it back because they can't accept the consequences for their own actions.
Yeah. Money goes up, blame goes down. You know, that's just facts. Hey, one thing about paperwork, bro, I'm in San Quentin. I'm on the 3rd tier East Block yard side. And they come hit the cells one day, right? Well, these sons of bitches, they put some kind of blocking mechanism inside the toilet. Like, I was the very first cell. You got like the you know, the CO's little cell where they congregate. Then you had like a janitorial closet with toilet paper or whatever.
Yeah.
I was the very first cell that was for inmates. You know what I mean? I'm flushing, I'm laughing. Hey, they're like, cuff it up, Fisher. Hey, I'm showing them the line with all the wheelers on it, dropping them down the toilet. Bro, they had something back in the damn behind the cell that caught all that shit, bro. And so they come back, they go around, they come back out, and then they do the same thing to me. They're showing me this line, and I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. Guess who's right above me?
I already know.
Big boxers right above me, bro. So I gotta tell them, I'm like, hey, I don't know how they pulled it off, you know what I mean? But I flushed. I had like 5 wheelers that were going down by the shower somewhere, and I don't know how they pulled it off, bro. But they got that. I flushed it. I double checked. I kept flushing the water while they're threatening to pepper spray me, whatever. And he's like, no big deal, you know what I mean? But I was still nervous, you know what I mean? But there was an OG homeboy next door to me named Gremlin. I can't remember where he was from. He was from
From Salinas.
Yeah, bro. He was cool, bro. And
Yeah.
and he had stayed out for like 10 years on the streets, bro, like 12 years or something
I
crazy.
think he's actually an original NR member, bro. I was actually there with him.
But he went to bat for me. We go out to yard and I had to explain what happened. And he's like, no, I heard the homie flushing his toilet multiple times, them threatening to pepper spray him and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And so, you know, I got a pass, man. But bro, I mean, things like that, bro, that could get you crossed up. And that's not my fault. I did everything I could in my power. I mean, I could have pulled them out and ate them, you know, but by then they would have pepper sprayed me and came in there and beat me up. You know what I'm saying? But they were gone. I made triple sure. And they came out and they were all, it was this little dude I hated too named Snodgrass. He's like, you're busted now.
Check this out, right? I was on the 4th floor, right? Everybody knows we used to go through like the Santa Clara County Jail. So I got the whole new jail, right? And so everything comes to me. So what we used to do is make little post days, and then there's little holes in the crack that go from pod to pod. You go like that. So they were on my cell, so they seen it come through, right? So one dude comes and he passes it to me, and they're like, "Hey, we want that," right? They start talking to me in the intercom. So I start flushing my stuff down the toilet. You know what these correction officer said? Thank you. I was like, oh, these dudes, man, they didn't even come in there search or nothing, man. They knew I was so paranoid. Man, you know how it is, bro. Like, I always used to sit there, bro, like for years, 24/7, with everything put away, bro. It was never out unless I was using it. I have to unwrap it. If I had to pull something out, I'd pull it out and have to put it away.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's the best way to do it.
That's the only way to do it, because I had times where I was in Santa Clara County Jail where they came and tried to do a okey doke and pull me out 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning to take me to Supermax with like Chuco and all them. So they came in my cell. I had like 10 of them in there, man. I had everything put away. They couldn't find it. You know what I'm saying? You know, that
They knew
security
where
starts
it was too.
they knew where it was at, but you
Yeah,
know, I mean, we're kind of digressing off topic. So, anyways,
no, it's all good, man. I mean, it's part of what we're talking about, though, man. It's
you
like,
know, as far as the Nortenos, man, like the future, we'll see. I noticed that they're being treated different in the feds and the state, man. The feds are kind of going back a little bit more to the old school. They got their yards to themselves, and they're dealing with different oppositions out there. So, or not even oppositions, they're just out there programming.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? If someone gets out of pocket, then they deal with it diplomatically, like kind of like the old school ways. You know what I mean? You know, but anyways,
yeah, like I think we're in agreement, man. You know, the main core of Northern allies, they're not going nowhere because of this. They're not going to go nowhere.
I have, if I have any prediction, you're going to start having different areas that start to break away, if anything. You know what I mean? Different areas. If that's you may have a smaller bulldog split, if anything. That could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, guys. I'm not saying that. Don't quote me. There's a couple areas right now that are having a lot of conflicts out in the streets where they rather gangbang, and it's more about being from their hood, whether you're black, Mexican, or white. If you're from that hood, they don't care about the North Day Sioux trip. They're more about their hood. They
Right.
have a different attitude when it comes to prison and street politics. I'm not going to put that area out there, but you can put two and two together.
I agree, man. Yeah, I'm just saying that as a whole, man, it's not going to be no mass departure. Everybody's not running for the hills. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I think we're in agreement, man. All right, YouTube, man. That's a little touch, man. I didn't even really want to address this, man, but so many of you guys asked, and it is important, man, because you guys might be, you know, thinking about yourselves and your future, man, and hopefully you guys make the right decision. You know, you just got to think about it from point A.
Stay clean. Stay clean. Stay away from gangs. Just do the positive thing, man. You don't have to worry about going back to jail, prison, have to deal with all this shit.
Yeah.
Politics up.
Yeah. Don't drink and drive. And the most important lesson of the day, do not drop the soap for any reason. Have a good day, YouTube.